Hey guys, I'm Chris Artiaga, music teacher, Mr. Artiaga, and today we're going to be doing a home music lesson that can really be done for kids of all ages, but generally for kids who are between preschool and 5th grade. And we're going to be doing this by using found sounds and creating instruments around the house. Our objectives are: in the red box, students will be able to identify the timbre of unpitched percussion instruments. Students will be able to create instruments in their homes using found sounds. Students will be able to accompany a song using instruments found in their homes. Now the vocabulary. Timbre, the unique sound an instrument makes. It is pronounced timbre, not timbre. Unpitched percussion. It's an instrument that is played by being struck or with the hand that does not have a high or low pitch. This is opposed to a xylophone, which we would call a pitched percussion instrument that does have high or low sounds. Finally, our last vocabulary word is accompany, which means to add instruments to a song. Now, our goal today is to be able to use found sounds that we look for around our house to be able to create instruments that we can use in music making. So I figure most of us probably don't have instruments around the house. Me being a music teacher, I did bring some home to make sure that people understood what the traditional instruments are before we go out and try to find our own sounds around the house. So the first type of instrument that I have are rhythm sticks. I brought these from my classroom, and they make a click sound. That's really important. What kind of a sound do they make? They make a click sound. Listen. They click. Okay, so we have rhythm sticks that make a click sound. When you are going around the house, and your assignment in a bit is to be able to find instruments around the house, please get your parents' permission before you do this, but you're going to be finding instruments around the house that make these different types of sound. Our first sound is click. I found these two kitchen utensils, a spatula and a wooden spoon, and they make a great click sound. And I thought it was great. The next instrument timbre that we're going to talk about, or instrument sound that we're going to talk about, is rattle. So rattle is a maraca. I brought this maraca in. It makes a nice rattle sound. And to find a rattle sound around the house, traditionally, a lot of people have used rice and a toilet paper tube and wax paper tied off with a rubber band, and that makes a really great maraca, homemade maraca. But I thought maybe we might be more creative than that, or maybe we might not have toilet paper rolls. So I found this little jar, this old jar that used to have spices in it, and I filled it with a little bit of rice. And so for my found sound, I made this rattle instrument. That makes a nice rattle sound. So that's something that somebody could use to find a rattle sound around the house. The next instrument timbre that we're going to talk about is scrape. I have a couple of instruments that I brought from school that do the scrape. One, and they've talked about both of them already, but I want to show you how they work in different ways. So the maraca I used before has this great texture on it, which you can use to create a great scrape sound. You can also use anything that really has a texture. The rhythm sticks that I showed you before also have a nice texture, which create a great scrape timbre. Now, for the instrument that I found around the house, I noticed that this jar of almond butter that I had in my pantry had a nice texture around the lid. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the fork and use it to create a scrape sound. So the timbre scrape is another one of our instrument timbres that we're looking at right now. Our next timbre that we're going to talk about is jingle. Now, traditionally, a tambourine is a very common jingle sounding instrument. And the jingle sound comes from these jingling of these round metal parts of the tambourine. Okay, that's the jingle sound. Jingle. Now, for my instrument around the house, this was the one that I thought really struggled with when I was going around my house trying to figure out what I was going to use to show you guys how to use found sounds. Jingle was probably the one that I struggled with the most, but I finally realized that I had these, I had these coins. I had some loose change. So I took the loose change, and let me see. It's falling all over the place. It's in my hand. There it is. And I'm just going to cup my hand and jingle the change. So that's my found sound for jingle, and that was a bit more of a challenge. The final instrument sound or instrument timbre that we're going to cover today is ring. And traditionally, I usually use a triangle to demonstrate the ring sound. There are any number of instruments that make a ring sound, but this is a really good one because the ring is so long. Now, my students know that when you hold a triangle, you always hold it by the string or by something, because if you actually touch the instrument, you're going to stop the vibration. But here's the ring sound from the triangle. And if I want to stop the vibration, I just pinch it. So let me show you again. And the ring stops. Now, for my found sound, for my instrument that I got from home, I went and found this bundt pan that you use to make a cake, and I found this rubber spatula because I think it really makes nice ring sound. I'm going to hold it by this part of it, and then I'm going to hit the top of it about right here. And that's a beautiful ring sound. Now, a ring sound is a sustained, longer sound. It's usually done, and it rings out. So that's the ring sound. So to review, today we've been talking about the different timbres that unpitched percussion instruments make and how we can go about our house and look for found sounds that make the same sounds. So to review, the first timbre we covered was click, and we used rhythm sticks. The next timbre was rattle, and we used maracas. The maraca in these pictures looks a little different than the one that I used in the video. We also used scrape. We also covered scrape timbre. We covered the jingle timbre and a tambourine. And finally, we covered the ring timbre on a triangle. So now your assignment, and you can pause this screen if you need help, but your assignment is to find found sounds with things around the house, and then use some of those instruments that you've created to accompany yourself with a song, which I'm going to demonstrate in just a minute. But all students should be able to create instruments that demonstrate click, rattle, jingle, scrape, and ring using found sounds. All students should be able to accompany a song using an instrument they have created. And older and advanced students should be able to describe the vibration of the sound. Where is the vibration happening in your instrument? So for example, I talked about how a triangle vibrates and the instrument is vibrating. Where does the vibration come in your instruments? Now you can either post post descriptions of your instruments in the comments below, or I'll be posting my email, and you can email me a video of what you've used and what found sounds that you have found at my email at Denver Public Schools, and I'll be happy to take a look at those and email you back. Now this is very important. Everybody repeat after me what the words that I have in red. Make sure you get your parents' permission to use items as instruments. Let's all say that again together. Make sure you get your parents' permission to use items as instruments. We don't want any of your things in your house to get broken or damaged because you were banging on the TV set and it cracked. Okay? Now I'm going to demonstrate how you can use found sounds instruments to accompany any piece. I'm just using a basic backbeat, but you can use any type of music that you like to use.